Viewers, almost 17 years ago, on the 29th of September, a bomb explosion claimed the lives of 8 people and injured over 100 others during the holy month of Ramzan in Maharashtra's Malegaon. It was yet another cowardly act in a series of attacks that rocked the country. No terror group claimed responsibility for this heinous crime. So the Maharashtra ATS widened its probe, which was being led by Hemant Karkare, who tragically lost his life in the 26/11 terror attack. 7 people were named as accused, including Pragya and Lieutenant Colonel Shrikant Purohit. They were all charged under the stringent UAPA. For 17 years, they were being seen as terrorists who killed innocent people, tried to divide society on religious lines and attempted to show Hindu supremacy. But today, the tag of terrorist and all others have been removed from their names. A special NIA court has acquitted all these 7 people in the Malegaon blast case, noting that the prosecution failed to provide any concrete evidence and relied on mere suspicion. The court has ordered their freedom. In a startling remark, the judge said that he cannot convict anyone on moral grounds, reminding everyone that terrorism has no religion. After nearly 2 decades, justice has been served to Pragya, Lieutenant Colonel Purohit and others. But it has also brought an end to the lie called quote-unquote Saffron terror, a term famously coined by the Congress and its allies during the UPA regime. No, it was not a terror attack by a Hindu group. It was not a grand Saffron plan to eliminate people of other communities. It was a terrible tragedy that was given a religious color by then Congress regime for their political gains. So this verdict also serves as an important reminder of how lives can be ruined for political gain. Who will return them? The last 17 years, that is, and who will compensate for the shame that they faced over this time? Who will pay for the terrorist act that was attached to them even? Before we go across to our guests, let's listen to Purohit's first reaction after he truly became a free man.
I'm extremely grateful to all of you. I'm extremely grateful to the environment, to my nation, and all those who stood by me. I was accused of something. Today I've been exonerated. I'm out of it. I'm happy about it.
आपके गाल पे थप्पड़ मारे जा रहे हैं, 100 थप्पड़ मारे जा रहे हैं एक साथ. मतलब इस प्रकार की यातनाएं, उसकी कितनी सर्जरियां हुई आपको पता ही नहीं. और उन यातनाओं से उसकी हड्डी टूट चुकी है. वो चलने फिरने लायक कैसे हुई है?
Joining us now is a very special guest. He's someone who's very familiar with all of the big cases that have been coming out of Mumbai, and now is also serving as a member of parliament in the Rajya Sabha. Ujjwal Nikam joins us on the show. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us here at Timestamp. Let me begin with your interpretation of the court's verdict. Do you believe that it delivers a definitive response to those who propagated the Saffron terror, quote-unquote, narrative?
Let me tell you very clearly that I have not conducted that case, not judgment, but only from the media reports what I learned that the court did not believe prosecution evidence in totality. In fact, it's a case of a circumstantial evidence, and the court has held that the prosecution has failed to connect all the accused person with the chain of the circumstances. Not only that, but the court also observed that the investigating agency had invoked the provisions of ULPA, and the court said that there is no material to invoke that provisions of the particular act. So, and most of the witnesses turned hostile. Most of the witnesses came with the case that they were pressurized to give the statement in a particular manner, and they were languishing in the jail. Now, the most, disgusting factor is that the moment these accused were arrested, some political party has made a propaganda that it was an act of a Saffron terrorism, and therefore they wanted to condemn a particular community as such. I really feel sorry because in our country, for the first time, some people, political party, especially Congress political party, has made a propaganda that this is the Hindu terrorism. So, in fact, this new coin that was invoked by the political party, and the court found that there is no such evidence, as a result thereof, the court has acquitted all of the accused persons.
Right. But, sir, this case arises, and this is a question that many have asked, even as far as the Mumbai train blast judgment is concerned. You know, while the accused may have been acquitted, there are serious questions about who were the original perpetrators and what does this speak in terms of the quality of our investigations if there are more than one case such as this, which are, you know, not proved in the courts of law.
We have to keep in mind that in the both cases, especially in the railway blast case, as well as this terror attack is concerned, Malegaon blast case concerned, the investigating agency was anti-terrorist squad of Maharashtra police. Now this is a special wing. They have the special, when very senior officer was heading that team, and the investigating agency could not collect such material to connect the accused with the crime, and therefore the court has acquitted all the accused. But I'm worried only because of the acquittal of this accused person. Some people are trying to make a mountain out of the molehill, that this has been done deliberately, it was an intentional act of the government. You see, when our Indian judiciary is independent, judiciary is never being impressed or influenced by any such type of allegation. But unfortunately, some political parties are now making it the propaganda. I think they should not make such a propaganda unnecessary. In our country, such rift is being created on account of the religion.
And, you know, one of the advocates representing the victim families of the 2008 Malegaon blast has said that he will challenge the acquittal of the 7 accused in High Court soon. How do you foresee this process and what really can we expect next?
See, the victim have a right to challenge that order, no doubt. It is a legal right. If they exhaust their right, then certainly the court will also look into. And if the High Court will be satisfied, if High Court will satisfy, yes, there is some merit or substance in the allegation of the victim's contention, then certainly the court will admit it. So, see, they have the legal remedies. They can exhaust those legal remedies, and it is for any person who is being aggrieved by the said order of the acquittal, they can challenge in the High Court. There is no problem.
Right. And also, sir, let me also ask you a question. I spoke about the context of the train blast, but if you look at the context of Samjhauta Express, if you look at Mecca Masjid and the pattern acquittals, you know, in that context, is there a message to be looked at over here or to be gleaned here?
What message?
In terms of the kind of acquittals of these cases.
In both the cases, they investigate.
Because, you know, the whole narrative of Saffron terror, etc.
Both the cases were investigated. Correct. Both these cases were investigated by separate investigating agency, right?
Right.
Now, so far as the allegation of Saffron terrorism is concerned, you say the criminals have no caste, race and religion. I fail to understand how this phraseology has come up. See, in 1993 Bombay bomb blast case, I have conducted that case. In that case, Hindus were accused, Muslims were also accused, but nobody has courage to allege in like that. Even in the 2008, I must tell you on the camera, while conducting that case, and Kasab was given a full opportunity to defend himself. And the question about the manner of conducting the trial or the question of the death penalty of Kasab was never challenged in the Pakistan. But unfortunately, in our country, the Maharashtrian Congress politician has made a nasty allegation saying that Karkare Kamte Saraskar were not killed by the bullet of the Ajmal Kasab, but they were killed by one RSS police inspector. Nikam was knowing this fact and Nikam has suppressed the evidence. What type of nonsense these politicians are playing? I fail to understand. If you have to play, if you have to do some politics, do politics, but not in this manner, disturbing the integrity and the solidarity of our country.
And also, sir, do you think there is a larger message that's going down? Because when this arrest happened, it was for the first time that a serving army officer in this manner been arrested. Do you think there's a larger message going out in this acquittal that, there are certain boundaries that one has to keep while pursuing whatever agenda or ideology one may have or thoughts one may have?
And no one is above the law. See, I must tell you very clearly and frankly, he may be police officer, he may be army officer. But now if the court finds that there was no material at all to connect the army officer with the crime, then certainly very serious question that has been cropped up. Why he was booked under this act. Now, secondly, why there was no, if there was no evidence, then why he'd been prosecuted and why the prosecuting agency was opposing his bail application. So all these questions will come up, and who will account for their life, like similarly in the train blast case. So similarly in this case also, the accused were languishing in the jail for a number of years, and at the end of the trial, they are being acquitted. Who will account for them?
True. But sir, many would
trial
also
must be completed within the shortest span of time.
Right. Also, sir, we all know how Colonel Purohit has spoken about the kind of torture that he allegedly went through, physical, mental torture, and how there was, some kind of behavior as far as senior officials. Yeah. So allegations of torture.
Madhav,
yeah. So how do you look at that? Should there be a prosecution or investigation in that light?
See, I don't want to. Madhav, it is for that army officer to recourse the legal remedies. If he is satisfied that he has been wrongly implicated in this case, if his case is that he has been tortured, it is for him, and his lawyer has to take a call in this matter. How can I advise? I am not advocating a particular accused or against the accused. No, I am not.
All right. Ujjwal Nikam, thank you so much for taking the time out and explaining the legal nuances of this case and why this is so significant.
Thank you, Madhav.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Take this across to our guest now. Joining us with us is Major Ramesh Upadhyay, retired. He was acquitted in the Malegaon blast case. We also have with us RP Singh, national spokesperson of the BJP. Dr. Anand Ragnathan, author, is with us. Advocate Nikhil Jain, political analyst, with us. Professor Atikur Rahman, political analyst, also joins us, as does Asif Sohail, political analyst. Let me start with you first. Major Ramesh Upadhyay, of course, big day for you, big day for Sadhvi, Pragya, as well as Colonel Purohit. How are you going to take the matter forward, sir? There have been allegations of torture. Are those who are part of this case who have now been acquitted, will they now move to take action against those who have violated, their duty and perhaps acted in a partisan fashion? Major Upadhyay. Major Upadhyay, आपको आवाज आ रही है? Or I think we've lost that connection there. Let me quickly take this across to RP Singh. RP Singh, do you think this is a fit case? Of course, some of those officers are no longer with us, but larger questions about how these individuals were treated and whether there was a completely foisted case that certainly arises after today's acquittal in court. RP Singh.
Well, they have all the right to move to the court, and we'll appreciate someone should move to the court on their behest, or they should themselves move to the court for asking for compensation and the loss which they have occurred because of the jail which they have to suffer. But Madhav, let's understand the broader perspective. What was the bigger game plan of the Congress? I mean, that's the issue. I mean, they did all this for a certain reason, and I strongly feel this was done for a political objectives, and they wanted to defame and and finish the nationalist Hindu ideology in the country, so that because they felt this is the only ideology which could have given them, opposed them, or which could have challenged them, and they wanted to ensure that this ideology is finished, or this ideology is defamed to such a level that they should not, after some days or some years, they should not stand up against them. Okay. So this was the broader game plan of the Congress, and for that there is long history of that. And then remember that leave this aside. They went to this extent that in the Obama's book, he has written that Manmohan Singh ji refused to take action against Pakistan after 26/11 because he felt that there will be a wave of nationalism in the country, and then they can't afford that because that will lead to the BJP or the other nationalist forces to come to the power.
That's a slightly different issue. Let's go one by one. You have pointed out to what was happening during the UPA regime, and Nikhil Jain, come in on this. Not one, not two, but multiple leaders during the UPA regime who very casually threw around terms such as Saffron terror, Hindu terror, so on and so forth. All of that stands completely negated today. Even Mr. Digvijay Singh, who was one of those who used to use that term very frequently, today has done a hasty U-turn. So was this nothing but an agenda that was being pursued is a question that certainly arises from this acquittal.
Madhav, this entire argument that the UPA tried to, or the Congress, or certain Congress leaders tried to concoct a conspiracy and have the country believe that Hindus are terrorists or Hinduism is a faith that can propound terrorism, that's an absolute boogie, and I'll tell you why. 80% of the voters in this country are Hindu, a majority of the Congress voters are Hindu, a majority of the Congress leaders are Hindu. Then in the face of all these facts, to assume that the Congress party for their political gain will do something against the Hindus is just a very fallacious argument.
You want me to show you those sound bites once again?
In the Congress during the
Nikhil Jain?
era, after the Malegaon...
I'm sorry, Nikhil Jain, this attempt at gaslighting of viewers will not work. There are very much sound bites of all of those leaders, from Mr. Chidambaram to Mr. Shinde to Mr. Digvijay Singh, and there's a long list of them. You want me to play them out? I can play them out for you to refresh your memory and that of our viewers.
I am not denying those sound bites, Madhav. I am not denying those sound bites. I'm addressing them.
So what were those sound bites doing then?
So far as the term being used by leaders, I am telling you, so far as the term Saffron terror, which was used by certain leaders in the Congress during the UPA era, after the Malegaon blast and otherwise, that was to hint at terror which was being propounded by organization linked to the wider Bajrang Dal, VHP, and that sort of a cabal of things. All that being said,
what is the link? What is the link? Is that proved in the court today?
I'll tell you what the link is. I'll tell you what the link is. That the fact that multiple people connected to this entire, Sangh Parivar were accused in a terror case. Now you will say that
they've all been acquitted today. So will everybody say sorry? Nikhil Jain, now that they've all been acquitted and you're a lawyer, once again, Nikhil Jain, now that they've all been proven wrong, you think they should all issue a public apology?
In that case, I think the government should issue public apology to also the 12 Muslims who were accused as terror convicts, as terrorists in the Mumbai train blast case. But the government swiftly appealed that.
No, was there any special phraseology coined because of this?
ATS carried out the train blast. Maharashtra ATS carried out the train blast.
Dr. Ranganathan, is there an equivalence to be even drawn here? Of course, the prosecution has failed on both the counts. I don't think there's any arguing that. Of course, the accused have been let off in both the cases. But is there any comparison in terms of the political impact of coinage of a phrase such as Hindu terror, which arises from this Malegaon case? And is there any coinage or any similarity that has to be drawn, as Nikhil Jain appears to be doing?
Now, a couple of points out here, Madhav. I need a couple of minutes to explain because Nikhil has raised an important point that I have addressed for years. I am of the opinion that any person that is, first of all, Madhav, this kind of, displaying a placard, Nikhil, please don't do that. It is offensive to your fellow panelists because I did not interrupt you in any which way by visual means or by audio means while you were speaking. So please don't do that. Have some respect for Madhav.
No, Nikhil, come on. You've got your say. Now have the patience to listen to others also. Let's go one by one. Yeah.
Yes, and I was addressing the point that you raised, Nikhil. While I am of the opinion that any person who's been wrongly accused, jailed, incarcerated, who suffered in jail and then ultimately acquitted by the state must apologize, must compensate. But Nikhil has drawn a completely wrong equivalence out here. Yes, the state must apologize to the people who were wrongly jailed and then finally acquitted in the other blast that he talks about. But in this case, there was a direct connivance. There was a complicity of the state to frame another decorated military officer of the state. This is the first instance in India where an acclaimed investigative agency, NIA, is investigating one another acclaimed agency, ATS. It is unprecedented. The rot that was in that state bubbled up to actually have your own incarcerated for the specific political purposes of branding 1 billion people as belonging to a religion that is promoting terrorism. Now, number one, so that equivalence is tainted in many respects, and I've explained that. Number two, please let us not bring politics into it. Today, two things are very clear. One, that suffering of people are elastic. I'm amazed at the patience and the fortitude shown by Mr. Purohit, because he's still saying, I'm grateful to him, I'm grateful to state, I'm grateful. The state should be grateful to him rather than apologizing on above and beyond that. But number two, the reason why I say let's not bring politics into it, because one of the pictures that you are showing, Madhav, I'd like to show that again, where you show RSS ki conspiracy 2611 Digvijay Singh ki photo. If you can please show it to the viewers again. While
we'll bring that out. It's playing in loop. We'll certainly show that. And we all know Mr. Digvijay Singh was part of that book launch. Yes.
No, just 20 seconds, because that photo is important. Because in that photo is a man on the extreme left. And that man pioneered the RSS ki sajish at 2611. And that man is in the BJP right now. So I don't trust the politicians. I would like to ask the BJP spokesperson, the two pioneers of the Saffron terror coinage and the RSS 2611 conspiracy, both, Mr. Singh, there he is, Kripa Shankar Singh, both people are right now in BJP. किस मुंह से आप एक्यूज कर रहे हैं औरों को या कांग्रेस को कि सैफरन टेरर कॉइन किया? जिन्होंने कॉइन किया वो आज आपके साथ हैं.
Okay, RP Singh, quick response and move on to others.
Anand, it's not issue of coining the slogans or coining the message. This issue is a bigger strategy which was being drawn, and this was part of the strategy which Congress has picked up when they went against the Sikhs. The Sikhs are the most nationalist community in the country. They painted Sikhs as anti-national to win elections. Similarly, they wanted to paint RSS and other Hindu organizations, which are nationalist Hindu organizations, as anti-national only for political objectives. So that was the political blueprint of the Congress party for their electoral objectives.
There's some breaking news coming in. In fact, there's a response coming in from Prithviraj Chavan, former Chief Minister of Maharashtra, and this is his response. It's a shocking comment. He says that don't refer to it as Saffron terror, but refer to it as Sanatan terror. Listen in.
देखिए, मैं बड़ी विनम्रता से कहना चाहूंगा कि भगवा शब्द का प्रयोग न करें. भगवा ये महाराष्ट्र की 14 करोड़ जनता के लिए एक पवित्र शब्द है. ये भगवा जो है वो छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज का झंडा था, जो कि एक स्वतंत्रता का प्रतीक है. अगर आपको किसी धर्म का नाम लें तो हिंदू टेरर कहिए, हिंदू फंडामेंटलिस्ट टेरर कहिए, सनातनी टेरर कहिए, लेकिन भगवा न कहिए.
Let me bring in Professor Atikur Rahman on that. Professor Atikur Rahman, this is bizarre. You know, one would have thought the entire debate surrounding Hindu terror, Saffron terror is over. But here you have Mr. Prithviraj Chavan, a mainstream politician. He's not somebody who's at the fringes, who perhaps is very eager. He's a former CM even, a former union minister, coming out to make a comment like, don't call it Saffron terror because that's offensive. Call it Sanatan terror. As if that's not offensive.
Madhav, I was about to point out this particular thing, that don't call it Saffron terror. I will call specially this to be a Hindutva, and don't please equalize Hindutva with the entire Hindu population of India. So simple it is. Hindutva and RSS
where is the terror,
not
sir?
equal to.
Sir, if this has been accused, if they
anyways.
No, 1 second.
Anyways.
This is the whole problem. The point is there has been no conviction. Today we are discussing an acquittal, sir. Where is the question of terror?
Yes, but this is not the last word in judiciary. Madhav, this is not the last word.
At the moment, it's the only functioning order we have. If this is overturned, we can discuss that also. That's how it works.
Madhav, can I make 2 points which are very important to this debate?
Go on, make your point.
May I complete my thing, Dr. Anand? Thank you. Madhav, 2 important points which have come to light in the judgment, that is, that the Panchnama was, not proper and the fingerprinting was not taken. So if we go by the logic that the Congress party was manipulating the affairs in the investigation, then how this happened? And very important aspect is, if I go by the logic that Congress was manipulating today since 15 years, the Hindutva parties are in power, they must be manipulating their ways.
All right. Anand, you want to quickly respond to that?
Now, I say with due respect to my good friend Atikur Saab, I completely object to this differentiation being put as between Hindutva and Hinduism. Hinduism and Hindutva are as tied together as Islamic and Islam. Please don't create a differentiation just because you want to brand Hindutva as illegal. Hindutva, as Supreme Court judgment itself has said, is the essence of Hinduism. Twa means the essence of Hinduism. Otherwise, you clean, if you want to deride Hindutva, if you want to cast something aspersions on it, please don't interrupt me, Atikur Saab. Please don't interrupt me. Please don't interrupt me. Yes, thank you. You named 5 things that are there in Hindutva that are not there in Islam. And if you can't find it, will you be as derisory against Hindutva as you are against Islam? It's an open challenge. Prove me wrong.
Atikur Rahman.
Madhav, if you are doing this equalizing, then again the same logic applies. That what constitutes Islamists does not constitute my religion, Islam. Islamists I condemn. Hindutva I condemn. I do not condemn Hinduism.
Not Islamist.
And Hinduism, the Supreme Court opined, is a way of life.
Okay.
Not a religion.
Let me come in. Let me come in and let me bring in the person who's been part of this case. He's been acquitted today. Major General Ramesh Upadhyay ji, आपको अगर मेरी आवाज आ रही है, क्या जवाब देंगे? जो कह रहे हैं आज की डेट में भी कि आप इसे भगवा आतंकवाद मत करिए, but use a term such as Sanatan terror. We have a panelist who says call it Hindutva terror. The acquittal may have happened, but the allegations, the terminology continues. Major Upadhyay.
I can speak English also.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
So, taking a cue from Dr. Anand and answering Mr. Nikhil Jain first. He does not seem to have read the definition of terror. As Malegaon blast is concerned, not even a single person left Malegaon. There was no terror, no shops moved, nothing else happened. The victims have not got justice, that I admit, because the real culprits were not caught and not prosecuted. We were falsely framed and we defended ourselves. And from day one, we knew that we are innocents. On the first day itself, we agreed for our narco test analysis. It was done thrice on me, on Purohit and Sadhvi and others also. And the prosecution did not submit the narco test reports in the court. You will be not surprised to know that 2006 Malegaon blast case, 9 Muslim accused were released by Bombay High Court on the basis of narco analysis test itself. When the prosecution did not submit it, I obtained the copy of narco analysis test through RTI and submitted it in the court. So all our judges know from day one that we are innocent. Now the points that were given by the prosecution, we demolished each of the point during arguments, and witnesses became hostile and nothing could be proved beyond any reasonable doubt. Okay. Now answering Mr. Atikur Rahman Sahib, let him for whatever his viewpoint is on Hindutva and what all. Hindu and Hindutva is not different, it's one. And secondly, Mr. Chauhan can call it Sanatani terror or whatever terror. The terror has not been proved. We have been honorably acquitted and no charges have been proved. Right. Now the third point is equating this case with the acquittal of certain people in 2006 train blast case is totally foolish. And they had been punished. They had been sentenced, they had been convicted by the trial court, and we have been acquitted by the trial court. Okay. In our judicial system, the case may go up to Supreme Court.
Absolutely.
But that is a process. If somebody has been acquitted by the, say, High Court or Supreme Court,
very well spoken, sir.
Yeah,
very well spoken. You made a number of very important points, but allow me to come in here because I want to bring in Asif Sohail. आसिफ सोहेल, जब आपके लीडर मिस्टर असदुद्दीन ओवैसी आके कहते हैं कि ये तो एनआईए देख रही है, तो हमें तो पता है, hinting that the center has gone soft on this particular case, listen to what the major is saying. He is saying they didn't submit our narco evidence, which was evidence enough in other cases to release other accused, but it wasn't even submitted because our innocence would have been proved in such a case. So why is Mr. Owaisi doing this kind of a wrong interpretation? Listen to a person who's been acquitted today.
माधव, देखिए, असदुद्दीन अवैसी एक लीडर के साथ एक मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट है, वो उनका अपना समझ से उन्होंने इसका जवाब दिया। मैं सिर्फ 3 चीज के लिए बात करूंगा इसके अंदर। मक्का मस्जिद, लुम्बिनी पार्क, अजमेर ब्लास्ट, समझौता एक्सप्रेस का मुंबई ट्रेन के साथ के कई ब्लास्ट हुए, इसने किसने ब्लास्ट किया, वो लोग को क्यों नहीं पकड़ा गया? ये सारे अगर लोग एक्विट हो गए हैं तो ये लोग कहां हैं? तो ये फेलियर एक गवर्नमेंट ऑफ हिंदुस्तान की गवर्नमेंट की फेलियर है, जो मुल्क के अंदर आतंकवाद जो फैला रहे हैं उन्हें छोड़ते जा रहे हैं। देखिए, जो एक मिलिट्री ग्रेड RDX एक साध्वी प्रज्ञा के गाड़ी में मिलता है, उन्हें एक्विट किया जाता है। मुंबई ब्लास्ट के अंदर एक औरत की गाड़ी जब पकड़े जाती है बॉम्ब के साथ, उन्हें कन्विक्ट किया जाता है।
गाड़ी किसकी थी?
कहाँ का इंसाफ है?
सर, गाड़ी किसकी?
माधव, कोर्ट में
मेरा प्रॉब्लम ओपिनियन से नहीं है, मेरा प्रॉब्लम फैक्ट से है। एक सेकंड, आप चाहे आपके फैक्ट्स हो, चाहे माननीय सांसद जी के फैक्ट्स हो, दे कैन नॉट बी डिवोर्स्ड फ्रॉम फैक्ट्स एंड रियलिटी. You can have your opinion, but sir, the point being made over here is, and even on the issue of the vehicle, I think we all know what the courts have said.
अगर जवाब नहीं सुनना था आपको, तो हमसे सवाल ही मत करिए। आप सुनिए, आप हमसे अगर जवाब नहीं,
फैक्ट्स आप तार्किक रूप से दीजिए, आप फैक्ट से बैकअप आर्ग्यूमेंट दीजिए, नो प्रॉब्लम. बट इफ योर फैक्ट्स आर गोइंग टू बी इन डिस्प्यूट, दैट इज अ प्रॉब्लम इन अ डिबेट, सर. दैट इज व्हाई वी हैव डिबेट.
Please read out the
माधव,
court verdict on.
मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ. सुनिए माधव, सुनिए माधव, देखिए, जो ATS का, NIA का, पुलिस का इन्वेस्टिगेशन के ऊपर हम सवाल उठा रहे हैं, क्या ये लोग ने जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन किया ये गलत था क्या? हम, मेरा सवाल ये लोग को बाहर आकर माफी मांगना चाहिए. और दूसरी चीज, जब मुसलमान
पुरोहित तो ये भी कह रहे हैं उनको टॉर्चर किया गया. आसिफ सोहेल, कर्नल पुरोहित तो ये भी कह रहे हैं उनको कस्टडी में टॉर्चर किया गया था.
स्टे लेकर जाएगा क्या? सर, मेरी बात खत्म करने दीजिए ना सर, आप बीच में मत बोलिए ना सर. मेरा सवाल ये है, ATS के ऊपर, NIA के ऊपर, पुलिस के ऊपर सवाल है कि इन्वेस्टिगेशन इनकी फ्रेम थी या झूठ थी, तो सामने आके लोगों के सामने माफी चाहे. दूसरी चीज, जब मुसलमान ब्लास्ट
Major Upadhyay, is it now time to take legal action against those? Some of those officials may no longer be alive today, but is it a fit case for you to perhaps another accused to take up legally to ensure that justice is done, and then such kind of allegations, at least of custodial torture, which are quite serious in nature, now that the acquittal has come to light, should this be pursued legally, and will you take it up? Major Upadhyay.
I'm very grateful to you for raising this up, but there is another side of it. It took 17 years with all the government machinery at the command of UAPA and the government, and they could not prove the allegation that they leveled upon us. Now we were in custody, police custody and judicial custody, and we were tortured there. Our family life was destroyed. We were financially ruined. And these are our allegations. How will we prove it? If we go to the court, the same machinery is going to investigate it. And if we go in a civil manner, it will take 50 to 100 years. We cannot fight.
Absolutely.
And that is one. Secondly, point which is being raised, I think there is an error of judgment over there. We had to prove in the court that we are innocent. We don't have to prove as to who did the blast on and what all happened. Okay. And judgment also came only on the case of the prosecution.
Well, Major Upadhyay, I would love to have a much longer debate, and it is very, very fascinating to hear your perspective in this case. It's been a long and a very difficult journey, certainly for Colonel Purohit, for yourself, for Sadhvi, Pragya and the other accused in this case. I'd like to thank you so much for joining us and speaking your mind on this particular development that's taken place today. But I'd like to thank all our panelists as well. R.P. Singh, Dr. Anand Raghunathan, Advocate Nikhil Jain, Professor Atikur Rahman, and Asif Sohail. Thanks so much for joining us this evening.